apologies in advance if this is kind of crazy. It's a chill video. I've been cleaning, obviously, and I'm getting rid of a bunch of things. My dog and my cat are in the room with me, and Pepper really likes the tripod. There's like thunderstorms and stuff running through the area too, so I don't know how long I'll have to film before the audio is just unmanageable. But I was going through. Are you helping? Are you helping? Can you sit? He's helping. I went through my shelves and I was cleaning off my red books, and I realized there were a lot of those that survived last fall's unhaul that I really didn't want to keep. And so then I just got in like a mindset of I've got to get rid of stuff. So I went through my TBR shelf and got rid of things that I know I'm not going to read. They're just not my style, you know, or they're double copies of books that I also don't want for my potential classroom one day, because I've actually pulled all those out and put them aside. And there is a vast genre of things in here. I didn't just pick like memoirs or thrillers or like true crime. Like it's a bunch of everything, and I've got it all stacked in front of me. You can't see it, in stuff that's kind of like with like, so I can kind of pull them aside and show you. This is going to be kind of a long video, but I want you to see kind of the crazy stuff that was on my shelves. So let's get into it. Just for shits and giggles, see if you can guess how many books I'm going to give away before the video starts, and see if you come close to it, because it's a pretty good stack. Like, I'm not even going to show you the stack, but like just see if you can kind of guess in the area of how many books I'm getting rid of. Nimoy's afraid of thunderstorms, so whenever it gets to raining really hard, he gets really needy for attention, so he's just going to be here. Anyway, first thing I'm definitely getting rid of is The Death Ray by Daniel Clowes, which was the only graphic novel in my graphic novel class that I'm getting rid of. I liked most of the rest of them. This one is just trash. Like, this is awful. It's about pretentious little misogynistic, sexist, racist little boys in the 70s getting superpowers, and I just don't care. Like, I don't care if it's a metaphor for anything, because it's not good. It's not even drawn well enough that I care. I get why someone would be interested in like really delving into this, but it's not like the be-all end-all literature like my teacher made it out to be. It's just really not. And I just don't care to read about spoiled people like that. Okay, the next three things I have over here technically came from a different library, so they will be going back to that space. It is Morning Song, which I think is about grief and dealing with grief. Billy Between, which I think is about a horse. And The Turquoise Mask. I have no idea what that one's about. I'm getting rid of it. These next ones are the damaged books. So this is, it's just, they don't have covers. This one is Merle Haggard, Sing Me Back Home. I don't care to read a memoir by Merle Haggard. This one is by Jess Lair, PhD, Sex. If I didn't laugh, I'd cry. I don't want to read that. And this one's sad. It's The Awakening, selected short stories by Kate Chopin, but the entire contents are like ripped out. Like the ending part of it, everything that's not The Awakening is ripped out of this book, and I have a copy of The Awakening in short stories, so I might as well use that instead. The very next one I think I'm going to keep just because it's kind of funny. It's What Do Women Want? But like, listen to this like synopsis at the back. 250-pound Gladys, tough lady cop Stevie, power-lusting Claire, rabid feminist June, female potentate Mama Doc, and Kathy and Margaret and Dorothy and Janie, and can make a sincere man very tired. But he's got to find out why his marriage is going bust. His life is in danger, and how he ended up hijacked and a prisoner on a Pacific island run by women who serve men up as appetizers. Literally. Okay. I think this was written in like the 70s or 80s, so like, I'll read that. That sounds stupid. But tag yourself. I am power-lusting Claire. These next two books I call... Actually, no, I've got another one. I've got one more torn-up book. It is The Far-Off Rhapsody by Anne-Marie Sheridan. I don't know why I have so many books that are just like coming apart. It's probably because I have a lot of books that came from like my aunt that were already in this house. And they're just not only not my style book, but they're also like damaged beyond repair. These next two books are Jane Austen retellings. Actually, I'm going to include this one too. So the next three books are Jane Austen retellings. The first one is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I don't want to read this. I just don't care. I had a phase back in like high school where I was really into zombies, and I was really into Jane Austen, so that made sense. But I've never read it. I've never seen the movie. I have no interest in doing so. The next two are from the exact same author, and I think the same like series of Austen retellings. I like this one because it's large print. Like, look how big that writing is. That's great. But it's called like First Impressions, Central Park. No, this is First Impressions. This is Central Park. One of these is a Pride and Prejudice, and then something is another. I don't know. I'm just not interested because they're Christian fiction retellings, which means take the Jane Austen you know and love with as little like sexual content they have in that. I mean, like characters not even like holding hands till the end, and take even that away. It just sounds like a waste of my time. Like, if I want to read a Jane Austen adaptation, I want it with more sex, not less. I gotta start rolling through these or this is going to take forever. This is the collection of books that came from my aunt that already were in the house. This is Final Proof. Looks like some kind of crime novel. Veronica. Don't know, don't care. The Ebony Tower. Don't know, don't care. Stop me if you heard of any of these. A Killing for Charity. Don't know. Don't care. This one is Where There's Smoke. Don't know. Don't care. The Choir Boys. Don't know. Don't care. King of the... Yeah. This one's fun. Elisha's Widow. That one might be worth it just to see how, like, awful the romance in this novel is, considering when it was written. But, I'm good. I think I'm good. Ooh, oh, God. Sorry, I just read, they used the R word there. There's a trigger warning for, sexual content. That's awful. Okay. Alright, yeah, I don't feel bad about getting rid of that one. And then the next section I have is Reader's Digest condensed books. And I have so many of these. And I'm not going to read all the books that are on these, but here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Reader's Digest condensed books. Who would do that to themselves? Not me. The next section is just miscellaneous fiction books that I don't want. This is Historical Christmas Stories, 1990. I don't care about reading those. This is called Gate to Nowhere, and it's book 1, and it's autographed. I don't care about this either. Like, Twice Told. I really liked this the first time I started reading it. Basically, they took all these authors on the back. This is from the Dollar Tree, by the way. All these authors on the back had one picture to look at, and they each wrote a story based on the picture. So you've got, like, I got it because John Green was on here, and that was really interesting to me. And Sarah Dessen and Bruce Coville, I've, like, read a bunch of their stuff. But I just didn't, I don't know, it's not a really great short story collection. The concept is good, but the execution wasn't fantastic. This one came from Walmart like a decade ago. It's called Surrender. This one is Firewall. I don't know. I'm just not into like crime novels, I guess. This is an abridged War and Peace. The cover is kind of cool, but like I'd rather just read regular War and Peace and suffer. We got Nicholas Sparks, The Rescue. Haven't read it, won't read it. The Shadow of the Wind. I might keep this. I'm trying to decide. The synopsis sounds interesting. This guy's looking after like a book that's like really rare, and like why is everyone destroying copies of this book? So maybe I'll keep that. The next one is Amandine, which looks about as boring as I think it will be. This is The Outlaw Takes a Bride. This is another one of those really great Christian fiction books where nobody touches for like 80 pages. That's really mean. I have read some good Christian fiction, but like you just end up feeling kind of let down at the end. You just really do. Tipperary, which a lot like Amandine, looks about as boring as it probably is. And then the Hadrian Memoriam. I just don't care. I don't know how I ended up with this many like they're not true crime, but you know what I'm saying? Like the military fiction, maybe? Is that what it would be called? But I have so many military fiction novels. Like I have so much Tom Clancy on my shelves right now. I don't give a shit about Jack Ryan. The very last section I have here is mostly YA. And I say mostly because it's just kind of where they were put. They didn't have anything else they fit with. So I've got a book that fell. I've got Dorothy Must Die. It's a series that I have zero interest in continuing. I don't remember hating this book, but I don't remember loving it. I remember thinking I spent too much on it. I've seen some of the sequels for sale on Book Outlet, and I've thought in the past, I was like, oh, you should buy those and read the series. You know, I really have a lot of love for the Wizard of Oz series, but I didn't like what this did with it. And if I'm going to read a Wizard of Oz reimagining, I just as soon read the Wicked Years series again. This is Ripper by Stefan Petrucca. This actually is a pretty good book, but I'm not going to read it again. And it's not something I really need in the library. I may put this with my school books, like to take to school with me, because it's about a kid who like is stalking Jack the Ripper in New York, in like modern day New York, and it's pretty well done. Let's do a little knife in the cover. It's pretty neat. It's pretty well done, and it's got a nice little twist ending, but it's not enough that I wanted to continue on with anything with that. I haven't looked up anything else the author has ever written. I'm not going to reread it, so I got rid of it. The next one is one I actually just read, Wondrous Strange. I did a semi-review of this with my Midsummer Night Dream video, and I'm not going to read the sequel. Like, I don't care enough. I don't think it was unique enough. I don't think the world building was strong, and I'm just not compelled to read any more of it. Are you going to knock down my books? Huh? Are you going to be a naughty girl? Could you not? Could you not? This next one, I'm kind of sad about. I really liked it when I read it, and I really wanted to continue the series. It's another one of those, it's like I'm drawn to Wizard of Oz retellings. It's a drama, The Four Dorothys, and it is just about like a drama high school, and they're putting on the Wizard of Oz, and they cast four Dorothys because they want to share the talent and give all the students equal opportunity, but like the Dorothys keep getting knocked off, and so this guy takes it upon himself to figure it out, and also he's like closeted. It's actually one of the first novels that I read that had a gay main character, and like his struggles through it, and like he's got his friends and they don't know, and I think the sequels like delve more into that, but I can never find the sequels, and it's just a little bit too immature for me now. This next book is I think it's classified as YA, but it is a doozy of a book. It's called Maul. I actually don't have the cover for it. It never came with the cover from like Amazon. And it takes place in two universes. One of them, it's about a girl gang in a mall in like modern times. And then it's like the future, and these people are looking for the cure, I think, for a virus that causes infertility. And like the two timelines like play on each other. I don't really know how it ended. I don't know. Like, I think it was too big brain for me to read at the time. Maybe I'd enjoy it now, rereading it. But I just don't, like, I'm not going to, so I might as well get rid of it. And the next and last thing that I have on this list is one of the most disappointing book series that I have ever made myself finish. And that is the Mars Bound trilogy by Joe Haldeman. I'm an idiot. I got this from the Dollar Tree. It was $1. It felt interesting. There's like an elevator. You can see that red line. That's the elevator up to Mars. And this girl and her family, they volunteer to basically be part of a colony that's on Mars. She kind of flirts with the pilot of the elevator thing while they're going up. Mind you, she's a teenager and he's like a grown-ass adult. We love that. And she gets in some kind of trouble and almost dies while she's like fooling around and being rebellious on the planet, and meets Martians. And forms a connection with Martians. Well, then they find out that there's another species that is like has negative feelings toward Earth and Mars. I don't remember the exact outline, but I do remember it felt kind of like a easily wrapped up ending, and that it should have probably ended here. In fact, it did end here. It talked about her and her husband, the guy she fooled around with in the elevator. They like got married and had kids. This could have been a one-off book, and it would have been okay. It was an alright science fiction novel. But then, whoops, there's 2 sequels. And they're very, very, very bad. They're very bad. They are awful books, and I read both of them. I believe Starbound is the second one, and Earthbound is the final one. Yeah, but he can't be saying that about this book. Sorry, I just saw that Stephen King is quoted on all 3 of these books. His blurb is on the very front. And it's the same quote on all 3 books. If there was a Fort Knox for the science fiction writers who really matter, we'd have to lock up Haldeman in there. Stephen King. I can't think it's about this series because this is a shitty series. Basically, Starbound is they get a group together, including the character Carmen Dula and her husband and a bunch of other like militaristic folks, and they travel to the star that the signal from this first book brought up and they took care of in the first book, mind you. And then they just are in space for the entirety of this novel, and they eventually find the star or get to the star and stuff happens. Whoops, something happened on Earth. So then this one is them immediately being transported back to Earth, basically, even though this novel was the entirety of their trip there. This was just them on Earth. And just, everything's crazy, and there's no technology, and, oh God, I hate the ending so bad. I hate the ending. Do not read that series. I know I'm selling it so well, but please, it's so bad. It's one of those ones where the ending of the last book is so bad, it almost colors the first books. And I have another series on my shelves right now where I want to like burn the 3rd book with fire because it's so bad that it makes me mad that I wasted time on the first 2 books. And it's not Hunger Games, shockingly. But anyway, that's everything I'm getting rid of. This was a lot of books. I'm going to count these up real quick, and I will let you know how many it is. So I can't remember the number off the top of my head for the last time that I did this, but I think I did more this time. I am getting rid of 46 books. Like, that is really good. That makes me feel really good. I'm sure there are more between all of my shelves that I could get rid of, or like duplicate books, and like this isn't even counting those. I have gotten and pulled out books that I'm putting aside for a classroom. But 46 books feels really nice, especially when I'm known to bring home like 20 books at a time. So these will be going, I will be sending pictures of them to my friends who read to see if there's any of these that they maybe want. But then after that, they'll be going to the local used bookstore. And the ones that they don't want, I guess I'll just take to a thrift shop and donate. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this has been an unhaul. Thank you for sitting on the floor with me. Nimoy says thank you for sitting on the floor with him. Yeah, because he's a good boy. And he's always up for being the center of attention. Yeah, especially when it's raining. Yeah. Can you say bye? Say bye?